it was a really good performance. It was a really good performance because, don't laugh at me. This is important.
A really good performance. Bambi's not a real person. Not giving a performance.
But Bambi was portrayed by a person, a voice actor. That was a performance.
The voice performance.
Yes.
I thought you meant the acting performance of Bambi. Good job.
Is everybody ready?
Welcome back to Watch Along Pod. This week we have watched
Bambi. What did you think about Bambi before you watched it?
I didn't remember any of Bambi.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, I think there's one thing that everybody either knows or remembers about Bambi.
Death.
The death.
Yeah.
The trauma.
The trauma.
But we spoke about it briefly last week, and we were wrong about...
We were wrong about a lot. I mean, we both did say, though, to be fair, we both said we could not remember anything about Bambi.
Yeah, but like we thought the death happened at the start.
I really thought he was right at the beginning of the film.
Yep,
and it's not till about 40 minutes into an hour film. I was like, I kept thinking, when's she going to die?
That's the only thing that I was looking forward to.
No, I just wanted it to be over with so the sad bit was done.
Yeah, I did feel a real sense of sort of dread the whole time I was watching it because I knew the bad thing was coming.
Yeah.
And it kind of fakes you out a little bit when they first go to the meadow.
Yeah.
And then you think, oh, this is where it happens. And then it didn't happen.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah. Came out in 1942.
Yes. And this one ended the golden era.
It did.
So something we've not really spoken about in any of the podcasts yet is that all of these films are broken down into eras. So the golden era is from Snow White to Bambi. And then the next era is the wartime era, which, as we said previously, we have taken a number of those films out. So we actually only have one in the wartime era.
We can skip it. We've spoke about the war enough to make up for it, I think, in this podcast.
No more war. And then we'll go on to the silver era, which I'm really looking forward to because there are a lot of good films in the silver era.
Yeah.
A lot of good films.
Yeah, things seem to really step up in the silver era.
And then they go a bit, and then they go, yay!
It's like, they call that the experimental era, and it's obvious.
No, that's the 2000s.
Oh, no. So what's that era?
So
the Bronze?
The Bronze Age, then the Dark Ages, then the Renaissance, then the experimental era.
I think the Dark Ages is really harsh because there are some films there that I really like.
I love Oliver and Company, which you've never seen.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it when I was a kid, and I think that's really sad that it's in the Dark Ages because I'm like, I love it.
Basil the Great Mouse Detective is in the Dark Ages, right?
I've not watched that.
Oh, I used to love that as a kid.
So,
I don't remember much of it, but...
As you can have found out, our memories are really bad.
Yeah, it's about life, really. Life and death. And rebirth.
Yeah, I guess for little kids, probably quite an easy movie to watch in terms of that they maybe don't understand when the mum dies.
Because it's not really explicit, it's off camera.
It's off camera.
Nobody says your mum is dead. I think most they say your mum can't be with you anymore.
So I think it probably is a good interpretation for children to watch because it's a bit softer. But I think as an adult, it's a bit more horrific.
Yeah, we know, and as we're older, we have experienced loss.
Yeah.
More than a child would have. So.
And it's just when he's going, Mother, Mother.
And that's what makes it traumatic. It's not the fact that the mum was shot dead. It's seeing Bambi's reaction.
Yeah.
And what happened next really shocked me because we went from traumatic death of mother and Bambi screaming out for mother, and your mother can't be with you anymore.
To a really bright and colourful song.
Yeah.
I was like,
Tweedledee, let's sing a
Woo!
gay song about spring.
hey!
What?
I was like, hold on. I was like, maybe slowly build back up.
Yeah.
But it was almost like fade to black. Bam!
Yeah. And
But I guess that is the harsh reality of the seasons and the things changing. And
yeah, there had been a passage of time and there would have been some healing all around. And I don't think that was conveyed very well.
some
because
venison burgers.
Oh. So, Bambi was based on a book called Bambi, A Life in the Woods.
Yes.
Told you I'd remember it.
Came out in the 20s.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't that old. It was quite, for Disney, it was quite a relatively new story for them to be adapting to a movie.
Yeah, the original book wasn't actually written for children.
No, it was most definitely an adult's book.
Yes, it doesn't have a happy ending from what I know.
No, and that was something Walt Disney struggled with when he was trying to adapt it to a film, is that how do we make this more approachable for children but don't lose the essence of the book? So that was something that they definitely struggled with. A reason why it was released was pushed back.
Is that why?
Was one of the reasons, yeah. So because obviously it was meant to be number 2 from Snow White.
Yes.
But budget, always budget.
Yeah.
And the war,
we love the war.
and also that they couldn't quite feel like they could get the right balance in it.
Just like Bambi.
And they didn't feel the animators were quite ready to animate a realistic deer.
Yeah, they found it quite difficult, and Walt, being the perfectionist that he is, didn't want to produce a film where things didn't look right.
Yeah.
So, inevitable delays.
And I think that it was probably good for the film to be delayed. I think if it had been the second one, I think it's probably a bit too depressing for the second film.
Yeah. Although the animators found it hard to animate animals realistically, do you know what they did to get around it?
I do not.
They brought live woodland creatures into their studios and studied them.
Which they still do in Disney. So they still bring in animals when they're doing animal films a lot of times. There's that famous behind the scenes footage of Lion King where they brought a lion in.
Just into the studio?
Yeah.
Imagine rocking up to work one day and there's
the lion.
Mufasa sitting at your desk.
And actually, fun fact is that when they were trying to get Animal Kingdom built, they were trying to convince the board that Animal Kingdom would be a great park in Disney World. And they were going, no, who wants to pay theme park prices to go to a zoo? Like a glorified zoo where you can't even get that close to the animals because it's going to be like a safari. And the guy who was like trying to get it done, the project lead, it was some kind of wild cat. I don't know if it was like a tiger or like he brought a big cat into the boardroom meeting and just stood there with it. And all of the board people were like, and he was like, that took your breath away, didn't it? That's why we should build Animal Kingdom. And it got signed off that day.
Signed that bit of paper.
Yeah. So they still...
hands were shaking as they...
the characters.
Okay, so I really like the fact that all of the characters are quite uniquely defined. They all have personalities.
Yeah, they've all got their own personality.
Yeah, there's no one who's just kind of like generic.
No one who's part of what you'd call the main cast as such.
Yeah, any named character.
So let's start with Bambi, the name of the film, the main star, who I'm going to be honest, I've always thought was a girl.
I have never thought about whether Bambi is a boy or a girl.
I guess I just in my head, like I'd always be like, someone said, "Is Bambi a boy or a girl?" I'd be like, "Oh, girl," because Bambi just sounds like a girl's name.
Yeah, you clearly don't or didn't remember the part of the film where Bambi grows antlers.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. But no, I did not remember it. Well, I told you I didn't remember any of the film.
Mm.
And let's be honest, Bambi's only ever depicted like this. You never see grown-up Bambi.
No.
You never see anything. Bambi is depicted as baby Bambi.
Bambi is too innocent, I think, to the point where we feel protective over Bambi.
Yes, definitely. And I feel like the rest of the animals feel protective over Bambi. Like, also, another thing I didn't remember is that they're like, the prince is born. It's the prince. I was like, who's that?
Bambi's a prince?
Bambi's the prince. And I think because he's special, that sort of like they all protect him, I feel like.
Yeah. It gets kind of annoying that they keep referring to him as the prince. Oh, the young prince said bird. Or burr.
Well, he is the young prince, so...
He is, but our royal family don't refer to George as the young prince all the time, do they?
Well, do you have tea with them often?
Okay, we don't refer to him as the young prince. We refer to him as George.
Yeah, but I think probably back in those days, people would have referred to somebody like the Queen's child as, oh, the young prince. I think they would have said that. But yeah, prince.
Yeah.
The little prince.
I did find myself asking, as soon as I found out that he was a prince, who is his dad?
Yeah.
And I think we know that the brave prince of the forest is Bambi's dad. We kind of put those pieces together ourselves, but it's never really said to us. There is one bit where he says, "Come with me, my son."
Yeah.
But
I definitely think that it's clear that that's his dad, and that's why he stops and looks at him in that scene, because that is his son specifically.
Yeah. Nice. I think Bambi, although faces tragedy at a young age, actually has a really good end for the character.
It makes Bambi stronger.
Yeah, it does.
And did you know there is a Bambi 2?
I did, yeah.
Do you know what it's about?
I would have assumed it was about his kids.
No, it's not. It's about Bambi. It's that bit where after his mum dies and he goes off with his dad, before we then see it again, that's when Bambi 2 is set.
Oh. Have you seen it?
Teddy is from Bambi 2 that we bought in Disneyland Paris when Bambi 2 had just been released. And it was called Bambi 2. And they kept saying Bambi 2. And so this is Bambi 2.
Bambi 2 came out a long time after the original, didn't
2006.
Yeah, that's a huge amount of time between
Experimental
films.
era.
Daddy dear. What about him?
Well, as a character, he's not really present, is he? He's not really a great dad.
No, he's a bit of a deadbeat dad in that sense.
He goes off into the forest doing what he wants.
Yeah, but let's look at it a different way. If he was human, I saw him as the equivalent of like a military dad.
Yeah.
So he was away working, he was protecting the herd and stuff.
Also, in terms of animals, usually the young are left for the female to raise while the male goes off and hunts or does things like that. So, yes, no, I am joking when I say it. But he's a bit mysterious, though.
Oh, he is. I'm sure in certain circles that's quite attractive.
That's why Bambi's mum was like, all right, hey! That's how Bambi got made.
But it's really weird how his mum doesn't say, "Oh, that's your dad." When Bambi's mum died, he stepped up and he said, "Come on, Come with
I'm going
me.
to teach you the ways of the forest. So he's not bad,
Yeah,
but he's mysterious.
he is mysterious. I did kind of get the vibe that he was probably siring lots of little princes all over the place.
Yeah, and I did get the feeling he's older than Bambi's mum. Because they said he'd lived for the longest.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we need to talk about Mummy.
Mummy dear.
I feel like the mums have a really bad, like, thing going in all of these films for the first few lot of films. I know it's a Disney trope that one parent is dead and all of those things like that. But, like, Dumbo's mum gets locked up. Bambi's mum dies. I'm like, why are you trying to hurt all the mums? It's very sad. Does Mummy Dear have a name?
I don't think so. It's certainly not said in the film.
Yeah, I couldn't think of like them ever saying a specific name to her.
No. Mother.
Mother. And it's just, I mean, she's a good mum. She helps him, she teaches him.
Yes.
I found it quite sad when they were like, it was the winter and she's trying to get the last bits of the bark off the tree and giving it to him. And he's going, Mother, I'm really hungry. I was like...
She's like, I know. And I was like, oh, that's awful. It's like, I could just picture like a poverty-stricken family.
Yeah.
Who are surviving on ration.
Yeah. And then it's the grass that gets them.
It is. That first bit of spring grass.
No, I think it was a trap. I think that the hunters went and uncovered that bit of grass to draw out the deer.
Do we think there was more than one hunter?
100%. Looked like there was a little camp.
Yeah. Well, actually, they did say at one point there's more of them than there were last time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's...
So poor Mummy, she gives birth, starts bringing him up, and then just as things are about to get better, her life is snuffed out. Right.
On a lighter note, let's talk about Thumper. Oh, they're Thumper ears.
They are Thumper ears.
Oh, I thought they were mouse ears.
Wow. Because I'd wear mouse ears for this. My little Thumper ears. I love Thumper.
Thumper is a great character.
I think Thumper's just... He's that friend that is like the one that gets you in trouble.
Yes. Also the friend that gives you unsolicited advice all the time.
And gets you into weird situations. You're like, how have I ended up doing this?
Yeah. A really, really cute performance from the voice actor.
Again, Thumper thought it was a girl.
It's interesting you say that because I always thought Flower was a girl.
Yeah, would have thought that. I thought they were all girls. Maybe it's because I'm a girl.
Maybe.
So you project.
Yeah, Bambi I never really thought about. Thumper I thought was a boy, and Flower I thought was a girl. So it's a feminine name, feminine look.
Yeah.
The way that Bambi is like, oh, pretty flower, and then I was going to say he goes all bashful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, weird.
But I do like Thumper, and I think Thumper is a real champion of Bambi all the way through until he meets Girl Rabbit.
Wow.
We're going to get onto that scene later because we've got a lot to talk about in that scene.
Yeah. It gets steamy.
But yeah, Flower as well. The two sidekicks as such. I love Flower.
Yeah, just a really cute character.
He's just always sleeping. That's why I feel like I connect on that level.
You've got a lot in common.
Yeah.
You stink as well.
I stink. I'm called Flower, Daisy, and I like to sleep a lot.
Wow.
I really am, yeah. There you go. So, one more character we do need to cover.
Feline.
Feline.
Yeah. So Feline, I think, is the only character that doesn't have much of a personality.
Well,
Do you
I think
disagree?
She does. I think she's girly, and you know, she's quite sure of herself. Not sure of herself. That's wrong. She's confident because she's the one that sort of is like, Bambi, hey hey.
Yeah.
So I think she does have like a air about her.
Yeah. She's playful. She gets Bambi to come out of his shell
Yeah.
at the beginning where they first meet.
Yeah.
I really like the moment where they first meet. Bambi's having a drink from the pond and sees the reflection of Feline, and he's like, "Is that me?"
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cute, and I think that she does have a character. It's just there's not enough time to develop it, I think.
Yeah.
But she's the reason I think Bambi really steps up and becomes the proper prince of the forest.
Yes, she ends up in a predicament, which I think we should speak about
Yeah.
in a minute. But that brings Bambi's bravery out. He really steps up, and I think that helps him mature a lot.
Yeah. You're a good boy, aren't you? I want to talk about the owl.
The owl. The owl's name is Friend Owl, which I find really strange.
I have a confession.
Yes.
I was terrified of owls as a child.
Okay.
Like, terrified of owls.
Okay. Do you want to tell me about that?
I don't know what to say. I was just terrified of owls. I'm still not keen on them. I don't know what it is.
You just find them a bit unnerving.
Yeah, they
but
just
you can't
freak
put your
me
finger
out.
on it.
Yeah, they just scare me. And I don't know what it is about owls. Like, even now, if I ever go to, like, I don't know, bird sanctuary or something, and there's owls there, I'm like, I just don't like them. They just give me the heebie-jeebies. And I'm just like, ooh. And that owl specifically really scares me.
He is really sort of freakily animated.
I know. Like, I want to like them because they look cute and fluffy. But they scare me.
So, Friend Owl, I thought he was going to be like the wise old owl of the forest. And
he's the crazy old owl.
Yeah, he was just like really strange, quite grumpy at points.
I think they do portray owls as grumpy a lot because remember, owls sleep during the day.
Yeah.
So lots of time when they do the bits in forests where animals are like, ah, and owls are like, why are you waking me up? So I think they do have that grumpy vibe.
We had some more songs.
Yeah, there's only 4 songs in this.
There is, and only one of them is really memorable.
Yeah.
I've got to say, I had no idea Little April Showers was from Bambi.
Oh, I did know that. But again, thought it was after Mum died.
No, it's like really early on.
Drip, 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 little April showers.
Yeah, lovely song.
I do actually like that.
It's got a real sort of Carol of the Bells sort of sound to it with the harmonies, and where I don't know what the word for it is, but they're kind of offset. They're singing the same thing, but one starts slightly after.
Yeah. I like the fact that it was the water drips were what was making the song, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was clever, and I like the depiction of Bambi seeing all the different weathers for the first time, experiencing a thunderstorm, which, for children is very scary. So I do think this is a good film for young children to watch because it does help them with understanding those things. We do have to talk about the fact that, first of all, who knew that those characters grew up?
No.
when Bambi came out with his antlers, I was like,
Who's this guy?
what? And then Thumper talks, and I was like,
Yeah, and it's like their voices have all dropped really deep. And it was at that moment when I realised Flower was a guy.
yeah.
I was like,
I was just like, okay, no recollection of any of this whatsoever. I was like, maybe it did get turned off before Bambi's mum died. Like, nothing. And then you've got them all seeing each other again as grown-ups or teenagers, whatever you want to sort of go with. And they're all like, let's, be in a gang, be friends, yeah. And then they get picked off one by the women.
yes, but they do get warned by friend Al
Yeah.
about Twitter pating,
Yeah.
as he calls it.
It's that time of the year.
It is. It's springtime. It's the time where everything is reborn.
And they get frisky.
And they all get frisky. There's some lovely sort of, I say lovely, it's not lovely at all. It's the kind of stuff that you don't want your kids to pick up on when they're watching a film. When Thumper
Yep.
meets Girl Rabbit, his eyes start throbbing.
Yep.
And I was like, that's a bit much. And then his leg starts tapping.
Yeah.
When Flower meets the girl Skunk, he literally just goes like rock solid, stiff as a board, and falls over.
Boom. But I think when you're little and you're watching it, it does remind you of those early days when you have a crush on somebody when you're very little. I was definitely one of those girls that fancied the boys at school. Definitely always had a crush on someone.
Oh, it's a problem, was you?
No, nobody ever fancied me back, so it was fine. But, but yeah, it was literally that. What it made me think of when I was if I was a kid watching it, I would have been thinking of when like he blushes and things like that, like how you feel when you're at school as a little one and you think, oh, did that boy just look at me? Oh, did he send me a note? Like, whereas when you're an adult, you're like, oh, this is something different. Whoa.
The guys were all so confident that they weren't going to get wrapped up in Twitter pating.
Twitter pating.
Oh, we can't call it that anymore. It's called X, isn't it?
Exapating.
That was an awful joke, wasn't it? I apologise. But yeah, that's really accurate to how boys were, especially in my experience. When I was a teenager, there was, for a period, where we were all like, no.
Girls.
Yeah, your mate would go off and get a girlfriend. You'd be like, oh, that would never be me. It would never be me.
I'm not
What
going
a
to drop my
mug.
mates for a girl.
Yeah, and eventually,
Girl comes along.
and your eyes start throbbing, and you change your mind.
Yeah, I think there's a lot in that scene that I think at different ages you connect to it in different ways, and I think it is a fun scene.
Because the hunters return, and carelessly their campsite sets fire to the whole forest, and all of the animals lose their homes. And that, like, I found that quite upsetting to watch as well. Yeah,
but it is definitely, that was sad because all the animals running, and do you know what really got me? The bird that they're going, don't fly, don't fly, don't fly.
Oh no!
And you actually see the bird fall and die. I was like, this is terrible. Like, it was just, I hated that.
Yeah.
And then he loses Feline because of the fire.
Yeah.
It's all
she wanders off. He goes back to save her, and she's left.
Well, she's looking for him.
Yeah, I know.
She's not wandered off. She's calling out and trying to find him because she's worried he's in danger.
They go in opposite directions. He said, wait here.
But she's going to save him. She thinks he's got hurt.
if she'd done as she was told.
Wow. Wow. And then the dogs try and get her.
Oh, the dogs.
But that is quite a scary scene. I did fear for Feline.
Again, more peril.
But then Bambi came in and was like a ninja. It's like karate kicking them in the throat. I was like, go Bambi!
Yeah,
Bam, bam,
he was
bam!
bucking all over the place.
I know, I was like, good on ya, good on ya.
Yeah, we know Bambi can fight. It hadn't been long since he stuck up for Feline.
And then I couldn't make out, did he get shot?
I think he did.
You think he... I thought it was meant to represent he got shot.
But I can think of no other reason there would be a gunshot than him collapsing and then finding it difficult to get back up and walk.
Well, that is what I thought, yeah.
But he has to. He has to. His dad tells him, you've got to do it.
Got to
You won't survive if you don't. You've got to save everybody.
And I think that's a good lesson for everyone when watching it, is when you get knocked down, you have to get back up again. And you have to keep going, even though it hurts and it's hard. If you just lay down, it will consume, it will end you. Whatever that bullet is, it will destroy you unless you get up and keep moving.
Yes, because...
So talking of the fire, set by Man. They are the villain of the piece.
We're the bad guys.
Which I think is true of how we have destroyed wildlife for many, many years. And it's quite confronting, I think, when you watch it from Bambi's point of view. Like, when you're watching it as if you're a woodland animal yourself, it's quite confronting.
Yeah. If I hadn't already seen other films that deal with that topic, I think this would have really made me think.
Yeah.
And I suppose for the time that it came out, there wouldn't have been many stories.
No, hunting would have definitely been still a big deal all over the world. There was no rain.
Technically there was.
But not at the sad point. Not at the death.
No.
Which is when we have the rain normally.
But when did the snow happen?
When she died, it was snow instead of rain.
And what if snow, if not but just cold rain?
It's not rain, it's snow. There's a difference.
On a technicality.
So it's time to rank Bambi.
So on a scale of 1 to 89, where does Bambi come?
I don't ever want to watch it again.
No. Last week we ranked Dumbo as our highest ranking so far, which was at number 41.
41. I don't think it's definitely not higher than Dumbo.
No, I think Dumbo was a more enjoyable film.
It had, I feel, more of a story than Bambi did.
Yeah.
As we said before, we're very story-based people. And I feel Bambi, as much as, okay, it's about Bambi's life, that sort of nothing happened, but things did happen, but nothing happened. So I'm not sure. I would probably watch Snow White again before I watched Bambi again.
Yeah, and Pinocchio was just beneath, and I would sooner watch Pinocchio again.
So what do we reckon down from Pinocchio?
I don't want to rank Bambi too low, because although I don't feel like I want to see this film again,
it was beautiful in how it was made.
Yeah. The opening shot, we didn't even speak about that opening shot where it's just sweeping through the forest.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Wonderful. And there's a lot to like about Bambi. It just isn't very memorable.
What about 52 then? The next one down from Pinocchio.
Yeah, it feels like a real cop out, but 52.
Well, we could go a bit low. We could go 53, 54.
No, I think we'll stick with 52.
Okay. So we're thinking 52. Does that feel right to you?
For now, yeah. If we forget about the other rankings and we look at this on a scale of satisfaction, number 1 is best film I've ever seen, and number 89,
I never want to watch it ever again.
yeah, I want to erase it from my memory.
Fantasia.
Fantasia's already erased from my memory.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think I'm happy with that. Are you guys happy with that? How do you feel about it? Would you have ranked it differently?
Any of you suckers for trauma at home?
Or suckers for a non-existing storyline and only 4 songs? Well, that's our ranking for Bambi. So, Bambi was this week. What are we watching next week?
I don't know. Is it The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad?
It is indeed.
Ooh.
Ooh.
We've got a spooky Halloween special for you next week, guys.
Yeah. So we will be all Halloween themed. So that'll be fun. And we're looking forward. I've never seen it.
I've never seen
You've never
it.
seen it. So none of us know what's going to happen. We might hate it. We might love it. It might be number 1.
I really want to love it.
He does really want to love it. I'm not sure. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, all that's left for us to say is remember,
You're never too old to be young. See you next week.
Bye.
Is everybody ready?